Welcome back everyone. So as you see today I'm starting off at the White Water Centre on the Lee Valley, and I'm going to ride north from here, probably as far as Dobbs Weir. I think it's quite a pretty place to go to, so we'll go and have a look at Dobbs Weir. This one's a little bit out of sync. I'm recording this one today because I know that we've got some rainy days coming up later in the week, so hopefully this will cover me for one of the rainy days, but as I say, a little bit out of sync, so if some of the things I say or mention as we're going along sound a little bit strange or, as I say, out of sync with the rest of my vlogs, don't worry about it, because it's just recorded earlier in the week when it's still just a little bit sunny. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, whilst I'm riding up there, I'll let you see the views as usual, but I've been asked about my flag and the fittings that I've got for my flag. I have spoken about this one before, so to some of you it might be old news, but somebody asked about it, so I'm going to show you. And also somebody suggested that I might like to get a new flag. My sad old thing flapping away on the back there. Yeah, maybe they're right, we'll see, but I'll talk about that as we're cycling north along the canal anyhow. So before we get going anywhere, I'm just going to show you the whip and the fittings and the flag the way it's currently set up, and then we can get cycling. Back in a minute. So there we go, that's my current setup for a flag holder. Actually I've just noticed it's split, so it is time for something new anyhow. It's got a crack down here, look. I've been under something and the flag whip has cracked the top, look, you can see it down there. But anyhow, time for a new one. But all this was a end of an old fishing pole that I had, that I cut off because it had obviously a tapered, what do they call them, ferrules, isn't it? A tapered ferrule on the pole. And that was perfect for slotting in my flag whip, which is actually camping poles. So I've got 3 of those together and they're taped. And as we work our way up, I've got my little road light that I use for daytime use. I just put that on there with a couple of cable ties up nice and high so people can see that. There we go, it does flash, I thought it did. Doesn't look particularly bright in this sunshine, but I can assure you it is. And then, as has been mentioned, we have this rather sad looking little flag at the top. I've had to tie this back on so many times now. It's actually just held on with the usual, with a cable tie at the top now. And it's not held on at the bottom at all, but I quite like that because this little hole in the bottom here lets this fill up with air. So as I'm going along, it actually creates like a little balloon shape sometimes, which waggles quite well in the wind. So that's my flag whip and fittings. Nothing special, very cheap. The flag was made out of an old reflective coat that I had, just sewn up, so that cost nothing. And that light was from AliExpress, £1. Amazing, eh? So I got 3 or 4 of them, they're all in the shed at home. It's rechargeable, and I have recharged it so it works. Right, shall we get cycling then? Now I've shown you that, and then we can talk about it as we go. So flags then. What do people use as flags and where did they get them from? I've seen so many on YouTube with different types of flags and spinny things. You know, the little spinners that you get at the fairground, that sort of thing. Great big long flags, some of them are just short ones. I really don't want anything too fancy. And I don't want it too big either. I don't want it flapping and creating drag and making noise. I don't know. We'll find something, I'm sure.
Thank you.
That's all right. So something else I want to mention that keeps coming up in various comments and in emails that I've been getting. These pictures that I'm showing you, they make these paths look very, very narrow, and as though I'm getting very, very close to people. Please understand that I'm not, particularly on the 360. It very much makes my speed, because of the fisheye effect on the camera, very much makes my speed look as though it's about 3 times as fast as what I'm actually going. At the moment I'm currently doing 18 kilometers an hour. So what's that in miles per hour? I don't know, about 8, 9, something, maybe 10 miles an hour. But as you can see in the camera, it looks as though perhaps I'm going quite a bit faster at times, and it certainly would on the 360-degree camera. But please don't worry, I'm not being reckless, and I'm not trying to hit people. I'm actually a heck of a lot more careful going along these paths than most of the other cyclists that come along here on 2 wheels. I have to be. I'm 3 feet wide. But yeah, there is a lot more room here than you think. And also, a lot of the time, I'm holding the camera, not necessarily in the middle of the trike. I am at the moment, but you might think that I'm going really close to people, and I'm actually not, it's just the camera. Thank you. For instance, if I do this with the camera, yeah, some people would think, oh my goodness, he's going into the water. No, it's not the case. It's just where I'm holding it. And even worse, if it's on a selfie stick, I can put you 3 feet out over the water. But that just really doesn't look nice and doesn't make for good video. That's why I don't do it. So this is a nice bit of path. We're so far between villages that not too many people walk out this far. Yep, so the weatherman says this weather's going to break. Unfortunately, there's some cloud up there today, and there's some rain on the way tonight and tomorrow. That's a bit of a shame. I'm not complaining. We've had some fantastic weather the last couple of weeks. It's about time we had some rain. It'll do my allotment some good. But then, as I said right at the start, you guys might not even notice the rainy days. If I can get enough videos in the bank, then we can hopefully fill in those wet days and the days where I've got too much work on to get out. That would be good. So, I found out something rather interesting with the E-Assist the other day as well. When I was riding along the River Stort, the speed sensor magnet on the rear spokes must have got caught in a twig or a branch or something, but it got displaced away from the sensor, and that meant that the controller was showing 0 speed no matter how fast I was going. And yet the E-Assist continued to work. And yeah, of course I tried it out. I waited until I was on some flat road and gave it some welly. And that was fun. But yeah, it's not something I would use all the time. I think probably very likely to burn the motor out or something like that, because it was going a lot faster than it should be. But it was fun. And you know me, I don't go for any land speed records. I do this for the enjoyment and for the relaxation, not for the speed. I don't know how long ago they put a hard top on this path, but it's really nice. This used to just be gravel like the rest of the trail along here. Makes it a lot easier, that's for sure. Used to be so many horrible lumps and bumps. And it was almost impossible after rain, there'd be puddles everywhere. I doubt very much the water sits on this any longer. Another closed pub, the Crown at Broxbourne. Such a shame to see these places closed in this weather. They would normally be rammed, I'm sure. Thank you. Thank you. Those two boats over there are ferries. And in the summertime, under normal circumstances, those ferries would be taking people on pleasure cruises from here. I think they go up as far as Ware, I'm not sure, but I think so. Be a lovely way to spend the afternoon on the river, wouldn't it? What are they doing? Repairs by the looks of it. Oh, I love these sort of things because they're never very good for the trike. We'll see. I'll let these people off first. Trying to swap the hands off the camera. Trying to swap hands with the camera. It's as smooth as a golf course, this is. It's lovely. Well, it's a shame the whole path isn't like that. Oh, bottomed out the trike as I got off there. It's alright though, there's only the frame under there. We're now coming up on what's possibly the worst piece of path anywhere along the Lee Valley. I don't know why they don't sort it out, but it's been like it for years. So my apologies if the camera gets very shaky and wobbly whilst we're going over the next sort of quarter of a mile, but it really is dreadful. Parts of it are okay, but then parts of it are just shocking. You've heard me say it 100 times over the last few weeks, but thank goodness for full suspension. Thank you. And this is where it starts to get interesting. Oh. It's crazy, even cars bottom out on this. Need to see what this van's doing. There are parts of it where somebody's tried to do something about it. This bit's been sorted out. It's just a shame they don't spend a bit of money and put a proper surface on it, to be honest. Every winter it gets rutted up. Meanwhile, the river still looks quite nice. Yeah, believe it or not, that caravan has been fly tipped. And look at this. That to me is, is awful. Just such a horrible crime to do that. I mean, the council will come along and tidy it all up, but then who ends up paying for it? It's just shocking, it really is. Really don't like seeing that, it really gets my back up. Well, that's just about it. I'm going to be at Dobbs Weir
any second now. Hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Just a short one, as I say, to fill in on the wet days. Hope you enjoyed it. And again, let me know about flags and whips, any that you can recommend. All comments gratefully received. And here we are at Dobbs Weir. Cheers then, guys. See you next time. Ta-da.